Hello and welcome back to Ontology Explained. I'm Casey Hart, and we're going to continue our Let's Build a Chess Ontology series today with our third episode. In the first couple, we showed how you could represent, say, like Magnus Carlsen and chess as a game and some of the basic pieces. And today I want to get a little bit more into board states. So what does it look like when you do a particular chess opening, like the Queen's Gambit or something like that? I've been thinking about this a lot the last couple of days. I'm not really sure how it's going to pan out, so I'm excited to just sit down for a half hour and see what happens. Hope you enjoy coming along with me for the ride. Okay, so here we are back in the file in this ontology, and let's go ahead and see where we end up with. So this was my thought. I eventually want to say some more stuff, so let me go ahead and drop down into like the kind of notes for things that I want to be able to capture. And I want to say that like Queen's Gambit is a chess opening that is associated with a certain board state. So like what happens in the Queen's Gambit, right? You may move your pawn to d4, and then they respond with d5, and then you go c4, and then they take it. That would be the Queen's Gambit accepted, right? I want to have some way of associating that particular board state with that opening. So what kind of stuff do I want to say here? Let's just see what options we have available to us. We've got chess players, chess pieces, and then we've got the various types of chess pieces. So I know the queen and certain pawns, like the queen's pawn, are going to be relevant maybe in this game, but I don't have anything for like a board position. And for that, I think I want to represent something like the board state, where board state is like a completely defined position on the board. So let's just go ahead and create board state. I think that'll be good. I'm also noticing here, like, why do I have some of this stuff not in alphabetical order? Got rook sitting up here. I mean, it doesn't have to be in alphabetical order, but this is just my preference over time. This is when you find out that every time you alphabetize something, you have to sing the alphabet song in your head. I can't be alone in that. Okay, wait, what was that piece? Pawn, okay. Okay, so we got knight, queen, king. All right, that's looking better. Now we've got some C's up here. And this is totally optional. Like some people just are going to run this through a linter every time, and that's going to reformat it, and that's totally fine. I tend not to do that. I want to have inline comments and reorder things, and sometimes might have like different subsections, and stuff may not always be in alphabetical order. That's fine. That's fine for me. Okay. So now let's create a board state. And this is going to be a subclass of situation. It'll actually be a static situation, I think. Let me see what I have that in my master ontology. So we've got event is a subclass of situation. And then do I have static situation? Yeah, so I've got static situation here, and let me make this a little bit bigger so you can see. Okay, so I define static situation as the class of all situations that are persisting, non-changing situations over time. That is, in a static situation, the only thing that changes is time. This may seem puzzling. Don't all situations involve some change? Yeah, okay. So this is what I want. Like a board state is just a static situation. It is the state of all of the pieces being in a particular configuration. So I'm back in the chess ontology here, and we're going to create board state. So board state is a subclass of static situation. I'll leave it like that. Okay. Of fully specified. No, I'm not going to say fully. Of all possible configurations of chess pieces on the chess board. And then what I want to do also is have a, like, we can have the initial board state, which maybe doesn't even make sense to like have a class for the initial board state. But the thought is that every time you play a chess game, right, before move one, your board state is the initial board state. And so initial board state is like the class of all states that chessboards are in before the game starts. You know what? It's not going to hurt me to create the subclass. So the superclass is board state, and it'll be initial. So I've got board state initial. I'm just going to comment this. This is the initial position for every traditional game of chess. Okay, so I say traditional game of chess here because there are like alternative variants of chess, like Fisher random chess, where the pieces are randomized to some extent, and pawns on the second and seventh rank, and other pieces assorted as usual. Okay, something like that. Okay. So now we've got a board state, and now I'm thinking that every board state should be uniquely paired with like some property that specifies the move order. So we can create some data type property, and this data type property is, maybe it'll just be move order. This makes me wonder what they call it. If I just go in this other monitor over here that you don't need to see, I'm going to go to chess.com. I'm going to look. This game, or this video, has not been sponsored by chess.com, but you're welcome to if you'd like to. So if I look at my game history here, and then I just analyze one of those games, just seeing what it says in the UI about what the move order and such was. It just says moves, info openings. I was hoping it would have some other thing here. Okay, so let's just create oops. We're going to create move order, and the domain is going to be I have a choice here. Either the move order will take me, it'll probably take me from a board state to that move order. You know what? I think that's going to be wrong, but I'm going to do it and we'll see. So state. Okay. All right. So, for example, what I have in mind here is like Queen's Gambit accepted comes from the move order D4, D5, then trying to remember if you always have the period after this. I just basically need to pick some syntax, right, to specify the way the game goes out, and then C4, and then D takes C4. All right. That will specify this. So here's what I was worried about. If I have the move order and I relate a board state to a move order that generates that board state, this won't be a functional property. I was tempted to make this a functional property, right? That like there's a one-to-one correspondence between a move sequence and the board state, but that's not true because different move sequences can result in the same board state, because you can have transpositions or things like that where a different combination of moves or moves in different orders end up at the same board state, which is maybe totally fine, but that just means that we don't get this functional property bit. But that's probably fine. Okay, I'm going to run with this. I'm just going to flag this, though, if this causes me problems in the future. Like, we could talk about different openings. And this is actually just something, I know some stuff about chess, but I'm by no means an expert. So I wonder if they talk very much about having two different openings that result in the same board state, or if they would just say this position is a semi-Slav or something like that, full stop, and it's not like semi-Slav via some other piece. Okay, so now I've got a way to talk about what the Queen's Gambit accepted is going to be. So now I want to create a new type of class here. I want the class of openings. Let's create that. I'm going to call it a class of chess opening. And this is a subclass of event. Would this be event? Every chess opening is an event. It's a thing that happens. Yeah. And opening. So chess opening is the class of all events in which some sequence of moves starts off a chess game. Ooh, and now I'm going to be able to say some more stuff about this. Do I have chess game up here? What do I have? I created chess player, chess piece. I don't even know if I created chess the game, which maybe I'm just going to go ahead and create now. What this tells me is now I'm just like opening up a bunch of different cans of worms. I'm not going to get all the stuff done that I wanted to get done today, which is fine. You just start building out the ontology. You see where it takes you. You have a good time. So we're creating chess. Chess is going to be a subclass of game. All games played according to the rules of chess. Now I have to think a little bit about whether I want to call like Fisher random chess, or was it like chess 360 or something? I forget the name of it, but like another randomizing variant. Like, is that also chess, or is chess just reserved to like all of the ones that have that same initial position? I'm kind of indifferent to that at this point, so I'm gonna not take a stand on it and see when it matters. This is a good strategy for building ontologies, by the way. Like, definitely look down the road if you see some conflicts that you're gonna run into, resolve them when you can. But oftentimes there are things you're like, this is probably gonna be a problem, but I don't know what stance I want to take on it, so let's just kick the can down the road a little bit and see if some other things that I do make the answer to this question easier. Okay, so we've got chess. Example instances here might be like the immortal game. That's a particular... Oh, wait, no, that's not an example of chess. Chess is... Oh, maybe chess is an individual. It's an instance of game. Yeah. See, this is... Now, I was already getting conceptually confused here. So chess game is the class of all games according to the rule of chess. which is going to be an event. And then the immortal game is one such chess game. So chess game, and now we can create chess, and that actually is going to be an individual, which is a instance of game. Jeez. See, this is what happens. I was creating opening, so that goes before P, but then it's chess opening. The reason I called it chess opening rather than just opening is because I'm interested in bringing this together with my master ontology, which might have other things like opening, right? Maybe it's like opening something or whatever. It might be an event. Like chess opening is clear enough when we're in this file that's just about chess, that I could just leave it as opening. But when I'm using the same namespace across a lot of my different ontologies, it's less clear. And this is a case where you might advocate for using different namespaces if you wanted to have like clearer and short names for your terms, but it's really up to you. I tend to favor trying to put as much stuff together as I can, and since that's my preference, then I want to have more specific short names for all of my terms. Okay. What are we at? We're about, 15 minutes or so in. All right, about halfway. Time flies when you're having fun. So we've got chess game. Now I want to create and chess openings. Now let's create just chess. Oh, I keep saying that, but chess is going to be an individual. So we got Magnus Carlsen down here. Oh, I did create chess. Oh, and chess is an instance of game. So great, I did that. But I don't think I ever created game. So now I can create that. And game is going to be a subclass of, I think, codes of conduct. Let's see if I have that. So a code of conduct in my master ontology, which I'm looking this stuff up. If you're playing along at home, I don't expect you to know this. You don't have my master ontology or have it memorized. But a code of conduct is the class of all non-physical artifacts that are potentially normatively binding. They specify how agents may, must, and/or must not act in order to satisfy, violate, or avoid the code in question, like legal codes, rules of games, and diets. Okay, sweet. So, game rule set here. Let's see if I define that. So there I made an example subclass. I actually don't like that. We're just going to stick with game as the code of conduct. So now I'm saying what a game is just its code of conduct, its set of rules that specify how it ought to be played. So in this case, when I talk about chess, like the chess pieces aren't a part of the game necessarily. The chess pieces are referred to by the code of conduct that is the game, which I think feels right to me. So now let's create game. And actually, if I'm going to create game, let's create it in my master ontology. So if I'm going here, just before gas, gotta turn on turtle mode, and we're going to create game, and game is a subclass of code of conduct, and game is the class of all codes of conduct that specify a game. Games are recreational activities primarily intended for fun. And I am not totally set on that definition, but I'm not going to spend too much time distinguishing games from other types of things, right? Like if I set a set of rules for like stacking rocks or a set of rules for making a YouTube video, like that's not a game, but why do we count that as a game or not? I think there's probably some interesting philosophy or metaphysics to do, but I want to make some progress on the core pieces here. So now we've got chess, and then we've got chess opening. And chess openings are all events in which some sequence of moves starts off a game. And then we have chess game. And chess game is going to be the set of all events in which the chess rules are the things that are normatively binding, right? So I'm going to see what properties, if any, that I've specified for a code of conduct. I don't think I have any of them yet. Okay. Code of conduct is a subclass of specification. So see if I know anything about specifications. This is honestly something that I just don't think I've spent that much time developing in my upper ontology, which is part of why I was excited to do it here. So now I can come up with, all right, what is the relationship between chess games and chess, the code of conduct? I think these are just going to be events in which, so owl equivalent class, a owl restriction, owl on property, owl some values from. Okay, so this is an owl restriction. So every chess game is owl intersection of so these are all the events. Oops. All right, these are all events that are also so my idea here is that these are the events where chess, the code of conduct, is normatively binding for it. So I don't have this relationship yet, is normatively binding, but we'll say that is normatively binding relates a event or situation to the code of conduct that is normatively binding in it. Does that seem right? This is where I'm starting to have a conversation with myself. If you're watching these videos, drop down in the chat. Like if you've got thoughts on any of these things, I would love to hear it. The thing I'm struggling with here is whether I want to say that the event or situation is the thing that has a code of conduct that's normatively binding for it versus the person. It seems to me that it's not the event that is being governed by the rules of chess. It's that or it's only that derivatively. Primarily, when I'm playing a game of chess, I agree to be following those rules. So codes of conduct are binding on the agents who are performing them. So maybe the event is governed by, or something like that, the rules of chess. You know what I'm going to do here? I'm not sure exactly what I like. I'm going to just flag this as a to-do. But we've got chess games, which are the events that are somehow related to the rules of chess in an important way. And then I was thinking, every chess opening is, importantly, the first sub-event of a chess game. Ooh, it's not equivalent. All right. I know that I don't like that, but I'm going to say why in just a second. Okay, now let's see what our properties are here. So we want to look at sub-events. Okay, looks like I don't have a first sub-event. Okay, since I don't have it yet, I'm just going to create it at this point. So every chess opening Let's say this, and I'm going to change it in a second to something more accurate. But often, I think this is an important strategy in ontology building, is like get something down and then just get it down, then tweak it and think about how you want it. It's just like writing, right? You don't want to stare at a blank screen for too long. Okay, on property, owl, some values from chess game. Okay, what I want to say is that every chess opening is the start of a chess game. But you got to be a little careful because the start of, I was going to say equivalent class to being the first thing that happens in a chess game, but the first thing that happens in a chess game, you could break down that like starting event as many ways as you like. So say there's a 55 move chess game, I could say the first 54 moves were at the start of that chess game, but that's not the chess opening, because in chess we have a very specific idea. There's like opening, mid game, and end game, and sometimes the entire game is the opening, right? You never get out of the opening. Somebody blunders and then the game is over, right? They resign. So, and similarly, there are some cases where the opening is just the first move or the first three moves, because then you're out of book at that point. So it's not the same thing as just the first part. But we can say now this says that every chess opening is a thing such that a chess game stands in the has sub-event relation to it. That's true. Every chess opening is a sub-event of some chess game. And then here I'm thinking I can be even more specific, like has sub-event first. That might be a nice property to have. So I'm just going to create this later. I think as like a general rule here for making these videos, if I flag something as a to-do, I might go ahead and do that off camera at some point. Maybe this will be stuff that's just tedious and I have to go back and forth to my other file, and I don't think it serves the tutorial video that much. If anyone objects to that, go ahead and drop a comment down below. But I want to get stuff done and not be too tedious, but I'm really interested in building this and using it, so I don't want to build a toy example that's not actually well connected with my other ontology. And if I see some properties I don't have yet in my master ontology, I want to create them. Okay, we've got chess opening, chess game, and I wanted to create Queen's Gambit, right? So the Queen's Gambit is a subclass of chess openings, because every Queen's Gambit is a chess opening. And this is where I have a decision that we can make, which is, do I want chess opening, do I want Queen's Gambit to be an individual that's an instance of chess opening? Or do I want Queen's Gambit to be a class of all games in which the Queen's Gambit is used? Or, excuse me, do I want the Queen's Gambit to be the class of all openings that are utilizing the Queen's Gambit? And I think I want that. I think I'm going to go with Queen's Gambit is a subclass of chess opening. That doesn't seem too problematic to me. So now we're going to create Queen's Gambit, and is a subclass of chess opening, and lexically it's just Queen's Gambit, except here I'm going to go ahead and drop the apostrophe in my pref label. This is a case where my label and pref label come apart a little bit because, right, I don't put apostrophes in this, and my RDFS label is just my short name with spaces, whereas pref label is how I want it to show up in any sort of like English translation. Okay, so Queen's Gambit is the class of all chess openings that start with the sequence d4, d5, and then 2 is c4. And now I can express this, right? Because I created stuff down below for that, this move order. So move order takes us to a board state, from a board state, well, is linked with the board state that it generates. So Queen's Gambit are all going to feature some board state. Ooh, this is interesting. Not sure if you can see why this is interesting, but it's interesting because I thought it was natural to link the board states with the move orders that generate them. And I also want to link the Queen's Gambit with the move order. But the Queen's Gambit is not the board state. The Queen's Gambit is the class of all events that generate that board state. So I have two choices here then, probably more choices, but two that come to mind. One is I could just say, this move order actually shouldn't be about board states. A move order is a specification of an event, right? It's basically a script. And so maybe move order should be about the event instead of being about the board state that's produced by the event. That I kind of like. So then, because here the example triple was Queen's Gambit accepted, but now I'm thinking Queen's Gambit accepted is a opening, a chess opening, which is equated to that sequence of moves. Yeah, okay. So I'm now going to change this up. So instead of saying that the domain for move order is a board state, I'm going to say that the domain is essentially it's a part of a chess game. Right? I don't want to say it's a chess game because the opening might be the thing that has a particular move order. Oh, this is tricky. And now I know I'm over a half hour. So maybe this is where I should pause it and just think about it. Let me just review my options here. I'm just going to say next time. Okay. Option 1 is that I'm just going to, it's not option 1 in terms of this is better or worse. This is just as they come to my mind. But that move order, we could have like chess move, which is a class, and move sequence, which is a class, and then move order is a functional property specifying a move sequence. So then I can say that every Queen's Gambit or Queen's Gambit accepted, those are openings, and those are openings that consist in like every time that chess game happens, that those openings include more things than just the sequence of moves, right? They include the players who had them and the amount of time that's on the clock and stuff like that within those games, the date it happened, whatever. But then the sequence of moves is identical across all of those, and that move sequence then can be uniquely related to a string that specifies the move sequence, which is the thing that we see here. That I kind of like. I don't know even whether I need chess move there. Yeah, I guess I do. So a chess move is just moving a piece. Did I create moving a piece? I don't think I did. So we have moving a piece, which is a particular action, and then a sequence of moves, and then move order is just a string data type property that links us to what that move sequence is. Okay, so that's I like that. Are there other options I was considering? Like as I had it here, right? I related move order to chess game, but I don't think I like that. Rework, see below. Okay. That was fun. That, like, I really enjoyed that. I have no idea how much fun this is to watch because this is me thinking through ideas like metaphysics about games and chess and stuff like that. Hopefully, watching it gives you some ideas about how I build ontologies and how you might think about them. Maybe you even learn a little bit about chess along the way. Maybe you realize how terrible I am at chess and that I need to get clear thoughts about it, in which case, please share them with me because I'd love to be a better ontologist and chess player, all of the above. Hope you enjoyed this video. In the next one, we'll keep expanding on that. And pretty soon, I want to be able to like classify types of openings and understand what stuff shows up there. Because I was thinking one useful downstream function here would be to look at openings and their traps and sort of sort them by certain things. Be like, oh man, which trap openings use the knight or something like that. Maybe that's a kind of thing that if I actually represented my games, I could see patterns that I might not find otherwise, and I can use this ontology model as a basis for coming to smart conclusions about the way that I play. That's another thing to be thinking about too as you watch this. Like, are there any cool use cases you can think of, things you'd like to see me do with the ontology? If so, let me know. And that's kind of that can be a guiding light. We're never going to get all the stuff about chess into this, or it will take a very long time. So instead, we need to figure out, okay, let's get some basic building blocks in there, and let's aim for a particular target and get that working, and then we can build that out iteratively from there. Super fun. I'm excited about the next one. Thanks for sticking with me. I'll see you guys next time.